Tonight, pleading guilty. 3 men taking responsibility for their roles in the violent death of an Owen Sound restaurant owner. Plus, pop-up prevention.
We do know that screening is one of the most effective ways of preventing particularly cervical cancer.
The local efforts to increase access for critical health assessments. And burn with caution.
You have a way to extinguish that fire.
The message from firefighters on the threat of open flames.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight in Owen Sound, where 3 men have pleaded guilty for their roles in a deadly attack on a local restaurant owner 3 years ago. It took more than a year for the police officers to find the men responsible who had fled the country back to Scotland. And with more on their pleas today, here's Mike Arcelides.
Robert Evans Jr., his father Robert Sr., and uncle Barry Evans have pleaded guilty to manslaughter and being accessories after the fact in the killing of Sharif Rahman on the night of August 17, 2023, when the Owen Sound restaurant owner was punched while trying to stop Evans Jr. from skipping out on a bill. Evans Jr. was 23 at the time and in Ontario paving driveways with his father and uncle. His uncle was with Evans Jr. that night when the group racked up a $100 dinner bill and tried to run without paying. Rahman, the court heard, confronted and pushed Evans Jr., who admitted to then punching Rahman outside his restaurant. The single punch knocked Rahman down with his head striking the sidewalk. Rahman died in hospital days later from a fractured skull and brain bleed. He is survived by his wife and young daughter. As part of an agreed statement of facts read by the Crown, the court heard Evans Jr. was helped by his uncle to flee. Barry Evans admitted to then returning to their motel in town, erasing any trace they were staying in the area. The court heard the men reached out to Evans Sr. to buy a plane ticket back to the UK for his son the next day. The plea deal, which included a joint submission from the Crown and Defence of 21 months, put Evans Sr. and his brother in a time-served position, meaning they already served their sentence and now await deportation to the UK. Their lawyers read letters to the court on behalf of their clients apologizing for their actions, calling what happened to Rahman a nightmare they will have to live with for the rest of their lives. The court heard the plea deal was reached after considering all the evidence, noting triable issues that included whether Evans Jr. killed Rahman in self-defense. Both sides asking the judge to consider sentencing Robert Evans Jr. to 42 months behind bars, less time served in pre-sentence custody, leaving him with about 8 more months before he too is deported. Evans Jr. personally read his letter to the court, calling Rahman a good, respected family man. "This never should have happened. I didn't mean for him to die. I am sickened by the damage I have caused. I pray every day for his family. I understand if I am never forgiven. I am truly, truly sorry." Evans Jr. is scheduled to be sentenced in early July. Mike Arcelides, CTV News, Owen Sound.
Here in London, an elderly man was found guilty of assaulting a Muslim woman wearing a hijab. 81-year-old James Henkel was convicted on 6 counts, including assault with a weapon and mischief. The incident involved multiple women who were confronted and accosted near Wonderland and Springbank back in September 2024. Henkel reportedly brandished a knife before leaving the scene. A sentencing hearing is now scheduled for August. Local firefighters are preaching caution in the midst of a dry spell that's lasted more than a week. Their message is to keep an eye on changing conditions if you plan on having a fire this weekend. With more, here's Brian Bicknell.
This is what it looks like in northern Ontario as wildfires have forced evacuations of communities near Timmins. While it may seem out of reach, Strathroy-Caradoc Fire Prevention Officer Jason Chabot says it could easily happen in southern Ontario.
When there's been no moisture, it's very dry. The ground is hard.
According to the Canadian Wildfire Information System, much of southern Ontario is now in the extreme category for fire danger.
With recent developments in the weather and it being so dry, they're probably going to be seeing a burn ban here shortly.
Chabot says this means anyone planning a backyard or campfire should take caution and heed local fire bans.
So if you are having that fire and it is allowed, you want to make sure that you have a way to extinguish that fire with you. You want to make sure you're always watching that fire. The fire is small and contained inside of a pit of some description. If you're starting a fresh fire on a surface at a campsite, you want to make sure it's scraped down to the basic raw ground, earth.
He says the same goes for controlled fires at farms. Just days ago, crews found themselves fighting this field fire near Appin.
A field fire will run hundreds of acres very quickly, and it gets out of control in seconds because the dryness just allows that fire to continue to go. A lot of times it is an uncontrolled burn, or someone has a recreational burn that hasn't been properly extinguished, or they've turned their back and the wind's picked up an ash and an amber and moved it into a field.
While each municipality has specific burn rules, in many areas only certain materials such as grass, leaves, wood, and brush can be burned without a permit. Brian Bicknell, CTV News, Strathroy, Caradoc.
Good evening. I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. We're in the midst of a transition from warm and pleasant conditions, a streak that's lasted, a week and a half, almost 2 weeks for southwestern Ontario, much of southern Ontario proper. Now we're faced with this area of low pressure and the leading edge of a cold front that has triggered. It's been the catalyst for showers, even some thunderstorms across the upper Ohio Valley. There's a chance that we'll get into some thunderstorms, say, around 10, maybe 11 p.m. tonight into the early morning time frame. And with that, we anticipate some active weather. Some showers to start things off Saturday. Right now, 26 at the airport, feeling closer to 30. Humidity is also part of the story. I'll break down what you need to know in just minutes.
Thank you very much, Gary. The provincial NDP leader was joined by local MPPs today at Queen's Park announcing anti-hate legislation ahead of the 5th anniversary of the Afzaal family attack.
MPP Sattler and MPP Kernahan, who represent London, have seen what Islamophobia can do not only to those who are targeted, but the impact it can have on an entire community. We have to talk about Islamophobia. We can't be afraid to say the word. It is the job of everyone in Ontario to make sure that our neighbours, no matter their faith or background, feel safe in our communities.
The legislation focuses on education meant to prevent hate-based violence. Officials say this should help young people understand cultural and religious differences among their peers.
Hatred is not something children are born with. It's something that they learn. And if hate can be learned, then respect, understanding, and belonging can be taught. The person who acts on hate may do so because of political beliefs, misinformation, prejudice, or fear. But standing against hate is not partisan. It's a responsibility that belongs to all of us.
London police say they've laid charges after a standoff in the city's south end last night. According to police, officers were called to Ferndale Avenue just after 6 p.m. for a man reportedly making threats. They say they negotiated with the suspect for more than an hour before he was arrested. Police say his charges include uttering threats and assaulting a peace officer, and no injuries were reported. City staff are providing a progress report on the $500,000 plan to fix up one of London's newest public housing buildings, which has quickly earned a reputation as one of the city's worst. With more on that update, here's Daryl Newcomb.
Only a few years after opening, the troubled public housing building at 122 Baseline Road is already undergoing a $500,000 restoration and security upgrade, and residents are noticing the improvements.
You're walking into the building and it was covered in graffiti and rudeness. And I don't think anyone wants to live like that.
Last year, a scathing audit report determined that the building was designed to offer affordable housing, but was instead filled with a dangerous mix of tenants, including the recently homeless, individuals with addiction or mental health issues, and women escaping violence along with their children. It triggered sweeping citywide changes to how public housing units are assigned, and council approved a $500,000 plan to improve safety.
What we're seeing is progress that's trending in the right direction. Improvements are happening. The building's getting safer.
A progress report by city staff suggests the investment is resulting in fewer security incidents. First quarter 2026 data reflects a major operational improvement, with overall incident volumes declining by approximately 47% compared to the fourth quarter of 2025. That substantial improvement does have to be put in a bit of context. It's compared to a period of time late last year when there was actually a spike in problematic incidents. A memo from London Middlesex Community Housing explains fourth quarter 2025 saw a sharp escalation in trespassing and access control incidents, increasing by approximately 166% over the third quarter.
Spike we see in the fourth quarter happens at every LMCH building right across the city. It's not unique to 122 baseline. As winter comes along and people start letting others in, or people are followed into the building.
The LMCH memo also suggests efforts to relocate tenants who are responsible for many of the security problems will also take more time. After several refused voluntary relocation to more appropriate, highly supportive housing.
The tenants have legal leases. We can't force them to move until we go through the Residential Tenancies Act and the Landlord-Tenant Board processes that would require eviction. So we try to work with them first to get voluntary compliance.
A council committee will consider the progress report on June 8th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Local doctors are touting the success of pop-up cervical cancer screenings, helping hundreds of people access preventative care, many of whom they say don't have a family doctor. With more on the program's impact 2 years in, here's Rita Ismail.
Pop-up cervical screening clinics at St. Joseph's Healthcare and London Health Sciences Centre have been a success, a sign doctors say that many residents are struggling to access routine health care.
So we're trying to break down barriers to screening. One of those barriers being the inability for people to see a family doctor, get in to see their family doctor, and many people don't even have a family doctor.
Since the first clinic launched in January of 2024, 7 pop-up events have been held and nearly 700 people have been screened. Doctors say screening remains one of the most effective ways to prevent cervical cancer.
By providing this particular service, I think we're at least trying to get people screened, because we do know that screening is one of the most effective ways of preventing particularly cervical cancer from developing.
The clinics now use Ontario's new HPV-based cervical screening test, introduced last year to replace the traditional Pap test.
We've modified the cervical screening test to look specifically for evidence of HPV or human papillomavirus exposure. That is the biggest risk factor for developing a cancer of the cervix.
So far, about 5% of patients screened have shown abnormalities requiring follow-up care. The clinic, now called Pop-Up Cervical Check, is open to people aged 25 and older who haven't had a cervical screening within the past 3 years. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Professional bull riding is back at Canada Life Place tonight, part of the Elite Cup Series. And for more on this, we're joined live by Lauren Stallone, who's on location for us. Lauren, over to you.
Thanks so much, Carlyle. That's right. We're here. It's the quiet before the storm. Very soon it's going to get really chaotic and all the fun is going to start. To tell us more about it, I am joined by Jason Davidson with Professional Bull Riders. Jason, tell us what people coming out to the show can expect tonight.
Well, if you're not here already, you're probably not getting a ticket, because we're sold out tonight, which is very exciting. You know, our 5th consecutive year we've been in London, and yeah, we're going to blow the roof off the building with some of the best bucking bulls we have in our entire country, matched up against the best bull riders from Brazil, Australia, United States, and Canada. So it's the ultimate contest of man versus beast. You add in some pyrotechnics and some good music, and our entertainer Brinson James. It's just a party.
And what goes into putting on a production like this?
Well, number one is the routing. So our whole staff either comes from the U.S. or out west. So, you know, we have to try to make it work within, 3 or 4 events while we're out here. So that's number one, get the routing done. When we prove we can sell out buildings, it's a lot easier to come back to the buildings and negotiate our building deals. So, yeah, and then we got to, cover the ice surface or take the ice out, put dirt on it, and we bring our own corrals and panels because we don't want these bulls running free within the audience, obviously. So, yeah, there's a little bit of setup. You can see the screens, the lights. It's like a rock and roll show.
Well, it looks amazing. I gotta ask, is it a myth that bulls will charge when they see red?
You know, that is a myth.
It is.
Lauren, yes. And you wore red.
I was gonna say bad day to wear red, but I guess not. Good day to wear red.
It's fine. Bulls are colorblind.
Okay, I did not know that. You learned something new. Well, thank you so much, Jason. There you have it, Carlyle. Get out here, enjoy the show, and wear red.
All right. Thanks very much, Lauren. Well, when we come back, the latest job numbers for London. How is our region trending with an unemployment rate among the highest in the country? Plus, a federal benefit landing in bank accounts. Details on who's eligible for the new groceries and essentials payout.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. After starting the year with 4 consecutive increases, the London region's unemployment rate dropped last month. Stats Canada's latest labour force report shows the jobless rate fell to 8.7%, down from 9.2% in April. And that was the highest unemployment rate in the country among larger Canadian cities at the time. The May report shows the local labour market remains weak, with a decrease of about 600 jobs compared to April. Full-time employment is now down more than 21,000 jobs from a peak in October 2023. Now, for more on the national employment picture, here's Jeremy Sherrill.
Fresh baked goods rising in demand. In this Ottawa bakery, just months after laying someone off, Jordan Pett is hiring again.
Looking to, grow our menu and keep it steadily growing, and hopefully grow our team more as well.
According to Statistics Canada, the country's economy added 88,000 jobs in May, driving unemployment down 0.3% to 6.6%, outperforming forecasters' predictions.
The numbers today were strong enough to reverse most of the losses that brewed in the data to start the year.
Full-time employment drove the gains, while part-time jobs took a drop. Unemployment among youth is down 0.9%, but still above 13%.
Because we deal with thousands of businesses, to place youth into businesses, we saw optimism, and thankfully the numbers have proven that out today.
Specifically, students are off to a better summer job season than last year, which was the worst in nearly a decade.
Part of that fall in the unemployment rate is a fall in youth participation. And it's not exactly clear why fewer youth are participating in the labor force.
The data comes on the heels of a GDP report from the same department last week that showed Canada has entered a technical recession, which the Conservative Party remained focused on today.
It's very clear in the numbers that we're in recession. What we're seeing in the job numbers is that we're significantly worse off than the pre-pandemic averages.
While the government says Canada's economy is moving in the right direction.
The numbers that you saw this morning on employment shows that the Canadian economy is resilient.
While economists are calling today's report a positive signal, they say it is too early to tell whether Canada's economy will continue on this positive path. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Millions of Canadians got a payout from the federal government today through a one-time GST top-up called the Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefit. Depending on household size, it meant a direct deposit of hundreds of dollars. And with more on who is eligible, here's Heather Wright.
Peppers, tomatoes, and lettuce are just some of what Sylvie Gagne grows in her backyard. Fresh produce that takes some pressure off her grocery bill.
It's nice to have fresh stuff and just go in the backyard and get it.
According to a report from TD Bank, grocery prices are roughly 30% higher today than they were in 2019. To address the soaring costs, the federal government unveiled the Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefit back in January. It's essentially a revamped version of the GST HST credit, with the addition of a one-time top-up payment that began going out today.
It's a significant amount of money, checks up to $533 today for a family of 4.
The program also includes quarterly payments, which Ottawa is boosting by 25% over the next 5 years, aimed at helping lower-income families keep up with rising costs. Who qualifies and how much they might receive all depends on individual or household income. but a single individual could receive a maximum of $679. A married couple could receive up to $890, while a family could receive up to $234 more per eligible child.
I think that the top-up is a really positive sign that the government is thinking seriously about how grocery affordability is impacting Canadians. But there's a lot more that we can be doing.
Michael Widener is a planning professor at the University of Toronto. Among the things he wants to see changed is where Canada gets the bulk of its food from, especially given our reliance on the United States.
We need to think more strategically about where that food is going to come from in the future and what we can grow here in Canada.
And if you qualify for this benefit, there's nothing you need to do. If you're registered for direct deposit, the funds will be put into your account. If not, a check will be mailed to your home. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Gary Archibald is with me tonight. And Gary, as we've been talking about tonight, just how dry it's been in our region for the last little while. The clouds seem to have moved in here in London, though it's starting to look like we could be in for some rain finally.
Carlyle, good evening. You're right about that. It's been a long time coming. Of course, last week and a half to 2 weeks across southern Ontario, it's been rather pleasant, and the humidity levels have been in that 40 to 50% range, which meant these above seasonal temperatures still felt comfortable, relatively speaking. Speaking of being above seasonal, 5 degrees above the norms across the region. Some areas even closer to 6, 7, 28 are high, or average for the great city of London, 23. So you get the idea. Holding at 26 now at the airport with increasing cloudiness, and it looks like rain, maybe even some thunderstorms on the way within the next few hours, closer to about 9, 10 through the overnight. 29 is what it feels like. So we're seeing the end to the streak. Plus, the winds are going to be picking up out of the southwest now, and primarily out of the southwest over the next few hours. That will take us into the pre-dawn. Saturday morning is not just wet at times, but stormy with thunderstorms and gusty. Wind speeds in the 30s sustained, with gusts in that 40 to 50, maybe even seeing southwesterlies out of the 60, maybe 70K range. The worst case scenarios, we'll see thunderstorms prolonged along this boundary. This cold front, I think, will send the showers along the south shores and maybe even the eastern shores of Lake Huron, at least the heaviest bands in the next 4 to 6 hours. That means anywhere from Sarnia, Lambton towards, well, Grand Bend, Goderich, Kincardine sees the worst of it. But we'll get into the initial wave plus second and third waves over the next, say, 6 to 12 hours. As you can see, the spread of moisture where it's likely to fall. It's a good blanket across the lower Great Lakes, southern Ontario proper, plus the expected amounts. Lesser in the extreme southwest, more through the Midwest and Golden Horseshoe. You get the idea of what we're looking at and what we're likely in for. Here's the breakdown for tonight. I'm calling for showers to develop as we get closer to midnight. Thunderstorm potential is there. It's about a 30 to 40% chance of thunderstorms, about a 30 to 60% chance we will see rain in and of itself. Take a look at our 7-day forecast. It's not a complete washout. The morning, showery, windy and stormy, but by midday through the afternoon, I think the worst of it is gone. There's still a chance Saturday afternoon we could see some pop-up thunderstorm activity within the vicinity as a separate entity. I don't think it's a very high probability. Still looking at warm temperatures with some sunshine to begin next week, showery through the midweek, and next week from Monday through to Friday, the average temperature is about 28, close to 29. The Midwest, more rain for you than through the 401 corridor. Sunny through Sunday into Monday, high teens for lows. That means we're mild through the overnights, and the daytime highs are closer to 30 as we approach the midweek. Some areas will see 30 degrees across the region. That's a look at your weather. Carlyle?
Thanks very much, Gary. Still ahead, anticipating delays. What to expect when arriving in Europe now that a new entry system is in place.
This weekend, we have the iHeartRadio Pure Country Countdown, where we take you through the biggest songs and stories of the week.
Riley Green says he wants to star in a movie, and it's one of your favorites from the 90s. We'll talk about that and more this weekend.
Sunwing Vacations has announced an indefinite suspension of operations in Cuba. That includes Sunwing and WestJet Vacations. Back in April, the company announced temporary cuts in Cuba, but indicated operations would resume in October. However, in a statement issued today, officials say they will now reach out to travelers with existing bookings to arrange an alternate destination or a full refund. A specific reason was not provided, but Cuba has been dealing with a months-long fuel crisis driven by a U.S. blockade. There's been some recent relief in gas prices for drivers, but when it comes to diesel, costs are rising higher in many parts of the country. With more, here's Paul Hollingsworth.
Kevin Nickerson says he's paying too much for fuel, and not just when he fills up his truck.
Hot water even, so all summer we're burning. So the price of home oil and everything.
According to fuel analyst Dan McTagg, the war with Iran continues to put a pinch on diesel markets, causing supply and demand pressures.
It means that diesel, which is the global workhorse for all fuel, is going to remain high.
This tourism executive says the season is off to a good start, but he's bracing for the possible long-term effects of rising jet fuel costs being passed on to travelers.
That would, in time, potentially discourage people from wanting to continue to travel here.
As food gets shipped across Canada, diesel prices are being absorbed by trucking companies and grocery stores, resulting in some food becoming more expensive.
Diesel is impacting the P&P at the grocery store, protein and produce.
Shopper Noriko Ewing says she has no choice but to pay more for the groceries her family needs.
So we need it, so we buy it, even expensive.
According to Sylvain Charlebois, the cost of food being impacted by diesel prices varies across the country. Some remote areas like the prairies or here in the Maritimes are being hit with bigger price increases compared to other places. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
A warning for anyone planning a European vacation this summer. Expect delays. That's because of a new entry system being rolled out at border crossings across the continent. With more on that, here's Pat Foran.
Europe is a favorite destination for travel, and this summer will be even busier than usual. Bookings to Italy, Ireland, Greece, Switzerland, and Spain are all up substantially over last year. A video of the Lisbon airport in Portugal a week ago went viral when it showed lineups that were hours long.
It is quite honestly astonishing and testimony to just what a disaster these new EES rules are.
Canadians shouldn't be worried. They should be prepared.
Flight Centre is trying to warn Canadians that because of the new entry-exit system in Europe, they may face delays.
They will now have their fingerprints and photos taken digitally, and it essentially will replace the old passport stamp that we're used to on our passports.
Travel experts say if you're flying in or out of European destinations, you'll need to budget hours of extra time at airports.
It's always crazy during this time of year, but then you add in that new entry-exit system and gathering all of those new biometrics, and it is just taking people a lot longer.
And it's not just flying, it's any mode of transportation in or out of Europe.
It's affecting all border crossings in any form, whether it's by cruise ship or by land or by airports.
Recommendations if you're traveling to Europe: arrive much earlier, especially for intra-Europe flights. Keep passports and travel documents easily accessible. Monitor airline apps for updates. Consider flexible fares where possible, and register with Canada's Registration of Canadians Abroad Service. While the new system is expected to make travel faster in the future, for now there will be growing pains as the system rolls out.
I would be making sure that I build in some extra time at any of those European airports.
Experts say don't let the Lisbon airport video worry you too much, as it's known to have some of the longest lineups of any European airports, and others should be much better. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Markets on both sides of the border slumped today. In Toronto, the TSX plunged more than 800 points, a more than 2% drop. In New York, the Dow shed almost 700 points, while the Nasdaq lost more than 1,100, or about 4%. On commodities, the Canadian dollar fell 0.14 of a cent. Meanwhile, gold was down $140 an ounce. Oil dropped $2.50 a barrel. Still ahead, job action impact, what the strike at Community Living London means for the clients relying on those services. Welcome back. We premiered a new episode of Leading London this week. It's a wide-ranging conversation with the city's police chief, Ty Trong, about his first 3 years on the job. Here's another excerpt from that interview. Not long into your tenure as chief, you secured an unprecedented $672 million increase for the police budget over 4 years. Last fall, you also had your contract extended, and when that was announced, you said the organization nowhere near where we need it to be. It's going to take a few more years for our organization to be at a really stable place. I'm curious about what kind of investment London taxpayers can be expected to maybe commit to in the future, knowing that there's still a long way for this organization to go to get to a really stable place, as you framed it, while still getting, hundreds of millions of dollars each year in investment in this police force. Where does that go in the next budget cycle?
Yeah, so we're in year 3 of the 4-year plan, and a lot of support from City Council and our police service board to get us this first multi-year budget. I've said very openly that our organization, there's been a lack of investment in policing and the lack of investment in our police service for a very long time. And it is needed to get the support and the resources we need to try and close the gap of where we should be. After this 4 years, we will be closing that gap. We need another multi-year.
Not closed. It's still closing?
Closing. We'll still be below the provincial average, well below the provincial average for police officer per population ratio. Okay. But this gap that we were at in 2023 will be closer. Okay. And we'll need another multi-year budget to bring us where we are really stable.
You can watch my complete conversation with Chief Trong on our website, ctvnewslondon.ca, and click on Leading London. Officials with the United Nations nuclear watchdog say there may be progress on a key sticking point between the U.S., Israel, and Iran.
Our sense is that they seem to be pretty close to agreeing on what I would describe more with regards to the nuclear, because the other things are not within my purview, to a sort of a framework, organizational, I would say, structure to give themselves time to look into the different problems.
Officials with the Trump administration have said one of their key goals is ensuring Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. That's something Iranian authorities have said they aren't trying to build. Meanwhile, the Iranians have also said they want any deal tied to a halt in fighting in Lebanon, where Israeli and Hezbollah forces have clashed. Earlier today, Lebanon's president urged Iranian leaders to let his country guide what happens next.
Our people being killed, our houses being destroyed. They are using Lebanon as a bargaining chip in their negotiation with the United States. It's unacceptable. And here also, Hezbollah must understand that. Hezbollah must understand that no other way but to sit and talk, no other way to solve this problem and to save what's left except through negotiation and diplomacy.
Lebanese authorities say Israeli attacks have killed thousands of people in Lebanon since March, displacing some 1.2 million people. Israeli troops have also occupied much of southern Lebanon. A pair of leaks have been discovered on the International Space Station requiring repairs. NASA officials had told their 5 astronauts to take shelter and prepare for possible evacuation, something that has never happened in the space station's 27-year history. Russian officials said they had detected the leaks on their side of the station, but there was no immediate threat to crew members. And 2 hours later, NASA authorities gave the green light for normal operations to resume. A new report is shedding light on how the former Prince Andrew was making money. A report by the UK public spending watchdog says Andrew was subletting 3 cottages on the estate where he lived rent-free for 2 decades. It's unclear exactly how much money he made. It also revealed Andrew's 2 daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, live in rent-controlled palace properties paid for by the king. Lawmakers requested the review after Andrew was stripped of his royal titles over his ties to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Let's take a look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thank you, Sonia, for this great image. Unfortunately, we could see some rather active weather in the form of thunderstorm activity, gusty winds. It will still be a warm weekend, above seasonal by several degrees, but also humid. Expected to feel sweltering in the afternoon potentially for Saturday along with those showers. We'll talk more rain potentially next week as things start to cloud over and become more active through this mid to late spring season.
We are 1 week out from Canada's opening match at the FIFA World Cup. In Toronto, officials say they expect upwards of 1 million international visitors for the event, which runs until July 19th.
Our plan addresses the downtown, what we call the last mile to the stadium, the final walking path to Toronto Stadium, where you'll find enhanced amenities such as additional washrooms, free bike valet, bike share availability, designated ride share zones, volunteers to assist visitors and answer questions, and a welcoming stadium entrance at Princess Gate.
Officials also confirmed Toronto's Fan Festival venue is ready, where events and screenings will be held. Transit authorities recommend planning ahead for anyone visiting the city. Toronto is hosting 6 matches, while 7 will be played in Vancouver. Meanwhile, Canada play their final warm-up match before the tournament tonight, taking on Ireland in Montreal. Canada defeated Uzbekistan in a friendly earlier this week in Edmonton by 2-0. Workers at Community Living London were on the picket line this week demanding higher wages and more provincial funding. And as Lauren Stallone reports, clients and their families are starting to feel the impact of the ongoing job action.
These guys here at Community Living are the real heroes. They need it.
Hundreds of OPSU workers with Community Living London rallied together Thursday, demanding higher wages and retroactive pay.
We're just looking to Doug Ford's government to pay the 6.5 that was ordered by the courts back to our sectors and to give a funding increase for our sector so that so many families can get off waiting lists and their loved ones can get support.
The strike started 2 weeks ago.
Our members are strong, our members are solid, and they're not backing down, and we're not tired yet.
Since then, the group homes and programs they support have been understaffed, something Chris Lozon has felt firsthand.
I'm working at the Idlewild Inn and Spa, been there for over 10 years now. The services that Community Living provides is once every 3 or 4 months, a job coach will come in to see how things are going.
Lozon has been receiving support from Community Living London since he was 17 years old.
Chris has really kind of come into his own. He's gotten really involved with Special Olympics. That has really boosted his confidence, just having a job, feeling like he's part of the community.
For him, the impact of the strike extends beyond his own services. His 14-year-old daughter, who also receives support through Community Living London, has seen her routine disrupted.
It wrecks her routine a little because she knows the dates on her calendar that she puts on her phone, what days she goes to these homes to get away, and that just wrecks her routine now.
Lozon says he hopes the union can get what they're asking for sooner rather than later.
Get this over with. Get these people what they need to deserve.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Two filmmakers from the Bruce Peninsula are part of a groundbreaking Canadian robotic expedition capturing footage of rarely seen species. Their mission, shedding light on what's hidden below. Adrian Gabriel reports.
Off the picturesque shore of Michigan's Upper Peninsula sits the largest of the Great Lakes. Lake Superior's surface spans more than 82,000 square kilometers. CTV News has been invited to plunge to historic depths with two Canadian cinematographers documenting the world beneath this expansive blue canvas.
That has been visited only once before in 1985, 1986.
As the shoreline disappears, the journey on the horizon comes into focus.
We're currently heading 50 kilometers offshore towards the deepest point in the entire Great Lakes system. Our destination is an underwater mountain called Big Reef.
Traveling with us is this state-of-the-art underwater drone. This is the only camera of its kind capturing marine life in the Great Lakes.
So it can move in any direction, just like a fish. So when we see a fish, we can kind of get in close to it and become part of the school.
All right, let's do it.
Our initial descent into the deep doesn't disappoint.
We got something interesting down here.
It's our first glimpse of a native Siskoet lake trout. Superior is the only Great Lake where they're still found.
The Great Lakes are our Serengeti, and the lake trout are the top predators in those lakes. And the Siskoet have evolved and held on for thousands of years.
The underwater giants use their large eyes to navigate the dark, deep blue waters. There's also redfin trout who use the current created by underwater mountains to soar through the depths. As the camera is pulled out of the frigid water, we move on to our next destination.
We've arrived at the deepest point of Lake Superior for what will be the furthest an underwater drone has ever traveled into the Great Lakes.
We're about to do the deepest dive we've ever done. You're well past 300 now, 308 meters.
The drone reaches 364 meters, uncovering the rarely seen deep water sculpin. The deep dive also showcases boulders below that share a resemblance to the famous pictured rocks that soar high above the water nearby.
It feels amazing to be down here, really to have the privilege to be able to do this.
The crew are just beginning a 2-year journey into the abyss for their upcoming documentary titled Hidden Below the Great Lakes.
There's nothing more magical than getting to see what's under the waves out here.
A picture-perfect perspective bridging humanity's understanding of a freshwater ecosystem seldom witnessed before. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Munising, Michigan.
I'm Sherry Flick inviting you to join me for Weekend Spotlight this Saturday, 8 a.m. on CTV London. This Saturday, we're going to find out about a really neat new play coming soon to Belize Festival. We will also talk to Pond Fest. That's right, Hyde Park BIA is holding their annual Pond Fest event. All kinds of great things planned for that. We will also find out why you should be cleaning out your closet, and we'll chat with Museum London. That's Saturday, 8 a.m.
Finally tonight, public backlash in Montreal after local officials were caught using artificial intelligence, pointing out a glaring error in new transit signage. With more on that lesson learned, here's Stéphane Giroux.
Bishop Street in Montreal is believed to be named after 19th century Anglican bishop Francis Fulford, except in Montreal's 747 bus line has been rechristened Bishop, as in a honey store, and it created a negative buzz at the STM.
So yes, we're using AI probably in many places. Probably sometimes we need to have some supervisor in there. In that case, it didn't happen.
The STM says it will rectify the sign, but it couldn't explain why its map wasn't proofread in the first place. Examples of questionable translations abound in the city. Take the street Prince of Wales in NDG. A local contractor made a huge blunder by calling it Prince of Wales.
We don't see any whales or any sea around here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even think it's somebody's humor. It's somebody's illiteracy.
Now, the sign might be funny, but for a lot of people, it's also a sign that we're relying way too much on artificial intelligence.
This story is a perfect example of why AI cannot be trusted to fully take over from humans anytime soon. It makes mistakes, it hallucinates, it lies, it confabulates.
An embarrassment, too, for professional translators who are being replaced by AI.
We do check, we do verify the translation. So it's even more than proofreading, because you have to check the terminology, the technical terminology. Is that the right words, the right syntax, the right grammar, everything?
Proof, she says, that humans still have the edge when it comes to common sense. Stéphane Giroux, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a great weekend.